CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.
Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Shruti Mishra and with me is Arundhati Ramanan. These are the top headlines from the startup space. AirBlack, a skilling platform, has raised 33 crore rupees from the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation with participation from Elevation Capital, Info Edge Ventures, Bloom Founders Fund and Mars Short VC. The funds raised will be used to launch new virtual offerings, new programs and open hybrid learning centers in 10 cities over the next year.
Google announces the 8th class of its Startups Accelerator in India, featuring 20 AI-first startups in the seed to Series A stage. The tech giant said these startups represent cutting-edge AI innovation in India, including discovering antibodies, detecting identity fraud, among others.
Zomato shares worth 1,100 crore rupees exchanged hands through block deals. Sources say SoftBank is likely to have sold its entire stake in Zomato. That's another exclusive.
Zerodha co-founders Nitin and Nikhil Kamath took home 194.4 crore rupees in remuneration in FY23. The stockbroking platform's employee costs for the fiscal stood at 623 crore rupees, including 236 crore rupees for ESOPs. This as per an Entracker report.
Apple and its suppliers aim to build more than 50 million iPhones in India each year within the next 2 to 3 years, with additional tens of millions of units planned thereafter, the Wall Street Journal reported.
Britain's antitrust regulator will review whether to launch a merger probe of Microsoft's multi-billion-dollar partnership with OpenAI after the ChatGPT maker said the US tech giant would have a non-voting board seat as per Reuters. The review will consider whether the tie-up has resulted in an acquisition of control. Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening, but the funding winter continues to impact the Indian startup ecosystem, with VC investments hitting a 5-year low. A total $7 billion have flown into the ecosystem so far this year. This marks a significant decline of nearly 73% from 2022. Aishwarya Anand joins us now with more details. Aishwarya?
Funding for Indian startups has dropped to a 5-year low in 2023, with a total $7 billion having flown into the ecosystem so far this year, according to data from Traction. Now, this is a significant decline of 73% compared to $25 billion in 2022. The funding winter has, of course, led to a consistent decline in VC investments since mid-2022. There's been a fall in every subsequent quarters. Q3 2023 was the lowest in 5 years at $1.5 billion. And with just about $1 billion raised in October and November, Q4 2023 is headed to be the lowest funded quarter since Q3 2016. In that case, Q4 will be the worst quarter in 7 years. Now, this decline is primarily attributed to the collapse in late-stage funding. They received only $4.2 billion in 2023, a 73% drop from $15.6 billion clocked in 2022. Why is that? The number of $100 million plus rounds have been fewer this year, only 17 compared to 55 such deals last year. What's to be noted is that funding has declined across all stages, about 60 to 70% in early and seed stages as well. Given this funding slump, India has dropped from 4th place in 2022 and 2021 to 5th place among the highest funded geographies globally. It's fintech, retail and enterprise SaaS that have kept the winter from freezing over. They still found some warmth, attracting VC dollars to become the top funded sectors. As we exit 2023, there is a silver lining. Despite the overall funding slowdown, we have seen sectors such as AI, deep tech, environment, climate and space tech garner investor attention. Especially space tech, which has had its best year ever, raising over $120 million in 2023, skyrocketing on the privatization push from the government. Back to you.
Thank you, Aishwarya, for those details. Appreciate you joining us. And speaking of funding, let's take stock of the deals this week. According to Venture Intelligence, this week saw 13 deals worth $552 million. Some of the notable deals include Gen AI startup Sarvam AI that raised $41 million from Lightspeed Ventures, Peak 15 Partners and Khosla Ventures, while Mattress Maker, the sleep company, backed $22 million from Premji Invest and Fireside Ventures.
But that's not all, Shruti. Defense tech startup Coreel got $16 million from 3601 Asset, while Biryani by Kilo bagged $9 million from Alpha Wave Global, Ivy Cap Ventures, and others. Finally, dairy tech platform DGV raised $6 million from Umidyar Network and InfoEdge. This year has seen a total of 114 deals valued at $6.6 billion, said Venture Intelligence.
All right, moving on. The Global Summit 2023 saw entrepreneurs convene from across the globe to discuss emerging trends and opportunities in the startup ecosystem. My colleague Aishwarya Anand caught up with two such founders, Aaron Tan, who's building a used car marketplace in Singapore, and Kaidi Rusaleb, who set up Funderbeam, a unique global marketplace for startup investments. Take a look.
What's the name of your company?
The name of the company is Funderbeam.
And give us a 1-minute pitch for Funderbeam.
So Funderbeam connects global institutional investors and venture companies online, and we help companies to raise the funds, match them with the best investors in the world, and also provide investors to secondary. So you can imagine if we're like an investment bank like Morgan Stanley, but fully online and built NASDAQ on top of it.
What kind of portfolio have you built on your platform? How many companies and investors do you have?
So first we launched it as a very early stage companies and early stage investors. So in that portfolio we have like a decent small VC funds and investors from 134 countries. Now we are moving it to the later stage, much later stage companies with 1 million revenue at least and raising at least 5 million.
And what kind of companies, what sectors are they from? Could you shed some light on that?
Yeah, the companies, actually that's an interesting question because we look into global venture companies, but what we also do for the companies, and we are no sector specific, but what we do, we score companies on their impact score. So venture impact score, and every single company who goes through our platform gets the understanding how they stand on people and the planet.
All right. What has been Funderbeam's funding journey?
Oh, that's a tough journey because you know what? Not only the company is a fintech company, we are changing the industry that has built a habit for 50 years. I'm a female founder. I'm a female founder from such a small country as Estonia. So it's been just amazing story of success and failure and success and failure, but we've raised funds from such a prominent players like Taiso Sun and Mistletoe here from Singapore, Tim Draper, the world-known investor from US, and now the recent funding this May we raised from Venture Wave Capital, $40 million US investments.
As a woman founder, what has been one of the most key challenges that you've faced? There would be plenty, but if one thing that has stuck with you till date?
I think the one thing what we totally hate as female founders is when I run the same business as a male founder next to me, then female founders normally raise what we call like a survival capital, and male founders raise a risk capital, and they get 15 million when we raise 3 million.
Aaron, tell me, how is Caro using AI to transform the buying and the selling experience of cars?
Yeah, very simple. We focus on three main things: pricing, computer vision, as well as sound. Right? Vision, we are able to tell whether or not the car has been in an accident. With sound, we're actually able to listen and ask ourselves, has the engine been spoiled? Has the car been in a flood? Is there any issues with the vehicles? Right? So using computer vision, sound, and as well as pricing and stuff and whatnot, we actually can use AI to determine whether or not the quality of the car is good, and as a result, what is the fair value market price of the vehicle to buy and sell.
Okay. On that note, tell me how many countries are you present in, and how many cars have you sold till now?
Yeah. So on average, we sell about 150,000 units per year. All right. And today we are present in 7 countries, and actually by extension 10 countries because we have engineering offices there. But we're in Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. We just expanded this year to Hong Kong, Japan, and Taiwan. So 7 operating markets with a further 3 markets in Vietnam, China, and Myanmar, whereby we have engineering offices in.
What about your plans of coming to India?
No immediate plans of coming to India. It's not an easy market. Right, the way I look at life is that India is a big market, and definitely a lot of potential. But I think there are a lot of not competitors, but comparables of what we do in Southeast Asia that we have in India as well, like Cars 24 and whatnot. And I think they're all doing good.
I was just going to ask you that. Like, my next question was about that. Like, Cars 24 just expanded to Thailand right now, and do you see it as a competition? Do you see how do you view it?
No, I look at them as partners. First of all, you look at Cars 24 cap table and ours, we are actually similar cap tables. I mean, similar investors. I mean, unicorn, sure. Investors as well, Vision Fund is a shareholder, is a common shareholder in both of us. I do meet Vikram from time to time, right? And we do share notes, compare notes and stuff like that. I like to think of ourselves really as partners versus competitors, especially in Thailand. And Thailand is a good example, and honestly, the only market that we have overlap in.
So essentially, when you spoke about not coming to India, no immediate plans of coming to India, that's because you feel that there's already established market there. So for you, it's going to be like there are already existing players. It's going to be a long run for you to place your foothold there. Is that where you're coming from?
No, I look at life very simplistically as markets that's lower hanging fruits, right? So you look at Japan, I don't have any online competitors, if you may,
Correct.
right? So, and look at Hong Kong, the same, right? So in markets like this, whereby we are talking about 10-15% body margins and GPM that's upwards of 20-30%, what is there not to like about the market? And what's better? There's no competitors, right? So it's easier for us to get in. Versus if I were to go into a market like, say, China and India, yes, granted, very, very big markets, huge markets and stuff and whatnot, but I do have a lot of very well-funded competitors that I have to deal with, and my margins are not the same. So at this point in time, given all this post-COVID issues with funding winter and whatnot, higher interest rates, the only right thing to do is to build steadfast, be responsible about cash burn, and build a sustainable, long company, right?
Jordan Cycle and Caro have signed like a $60 million agreement. Tell me, what does it entail? What does this mean?
Yeah, the partnership with JCNC and ourselves, really what I'm looking forward to is the growth of our after-sales practice, right? So the growth of it across Southeast Asia, across Asia Pacific, and that's what I'm looking forward to with the whole Jordan investment recently.
So Caro recorded a record EBITDA, in FY23 at $4 million. Yeah. So I want to understand what were the, drivers that what were the growth drivers there?
This year, I think we will close the year at about 40 to 50, if not 60 million US dollars EBITDA. We are already operating profitable, and the main reason, to be very frank, why we have been able to do this is honestly not that we are that great, right? But we employ a lot of AI and a lot of automation and tech into this so that we really reduce costs, so that we are a lot more operationally efficient than the traditional dealers, if you may.
You also entered into the insurance bit, right? Could you tell? It's called Genie, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Genie Finance, Genie Insurance is our financing and insurance practice, right? So insurance is a very, very important pillar for us. This is something that will A, improve our margins, B, more importantly, improve the overall customer experience.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, we tell you the story of Kerala-based startup that is working on critical technology needed for the defense and aerospace. Stay tuned for that.
CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence. CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Democratizing advanced technology has always been a focus area for the Indian startup ecosystem. A Kerala-based startup has now begun working on solutions to ensure critical technology gets a lot more affordable and accessible. Jude Sanit checks in on the company in another one of our rapid fires. Take a look.
What is the name of your startup?
The company name is Verdatum AI. It means true data, and we're a defense and aerospace company based out of Kochi, Kerala.
Okay, and in one sentence, what is it that your startup does?
So we democratize advanced technology. So we basically make a lot of restricted technology or more expensive technology available to a lot of markets such as India, who typically can't afford it.
And what exactly is the problem that you are solving?
So right now, drones are everywhere, right? Defense and aerospace, consumer space, drones and automation is everywhere. So we want to make technology, quality technology available so that more people can build out their solutions for that.
And what is the solution to this problem?
So we build high quality indigenous solutions, but we make it available to much more people, especially at a price which is affordable.
And what is the revenue that you will do this year?
So I'd rather not say the revenue, but we are growing at 256% year on year.
Okay, and what is the startup funding you've received so far?
So we are not equity funded, mostly because we haven't found the right match with an investor, because our sector, defense and aerospace, it's very nuanced. There's a lot of things which a lot of investors don't understand. So we are waiting for somebody who can kind of understand that sector as well.
So are you open to getting funded this year?
Yes, we would be open as long as the investor also understands the nuances involved and is a good match for us.
All right. And what is the biggest challenge that you've had to face while running your startup?
So in our sector, certifications and everything is very important because these systems are generally considered very critical. So kind of just wrapping my head around the certifications in general and kind of, I guess, making peace with the fact that these systems are, people's lives depend on them was a bit of a challenge.
Okay. And what's the craziest story you've had to share with us in your startup journey so far?
So one time I went to Mumbai for a pitch and I almost got mugged because the cab driver duped me and dropped me in the wrong part of town. So yeah, I think.
Well, we're glad you're okay. And lastly, what is the one feel-good story that you have at your journey at Verdatum AI so far?
As an entrepreneur or as a founder, I was able to provide a few opportunities for some people, and it's great to have like ex-employees come back to me and say that I was a great leader or I was a great CEO and gave them a space to grow. So that is something really nice to hear.
All right. Well, we hope you keep going at it, and all the very best. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
All right, moving on. Filmmaker Karan Johar has forayed into the beauty space. He has partnered with beauty brand MyGlamm to launch a range of lipsticks under the brand name MyGlamm Pout. Now, these lipsticks are available in 10 shades and sells for $7.99 a piece. Zenia Baria caught up with Karan Johar and started by asking him the idea behind Pout.
Well, lifestyle is a large part of what I represent even on celluloid. Whether it's the fashion element, the glamour element, the gloss element, the beauty element, these are some things that have been synonymous with my movies and my storytelling. Sometimes trying for the story to rise above all of those, but making sure that the cake has enough crust as the content, but the icing is the beauty, right? So when Darpan and MyGlamm, the team of MyGlamm came to meet me, I was like overjoyed with the idea of starting like a makeup brand. But I said, let's start with lipsticks, and then I had the perfect name. Something that also is weirdly synonymous with me, and I should be proud about that fact, but I'm asked on so many levels for a selfie with a pout. So I said, let's name it Pout. So that's how the journey began, and we thought we'd begin with lipstick shades, because I believe it's the last piece of adornment on your face. After the jewelry, after the makeup's done, after the clothes are worn, I just think that lipstick shade is the true game changer. It can change the game for how your outfit, your self-love, morale, your hair, your everything is being upped and enhanced is the lipstick shade. So I thought there's no better way to kind of begin our beauty journey.
I absolutely agree. So my next question to you is, in this day and age, where there is inclusivity and diversity, how does Pout help in including all skin tones and preferences?
It does, because the shades that are there are selected for any skin tone. Absolutely, and it's very important. We kept diversity and inclusivity very much in mind. And this lipsticks are for all genders, for people who want to experiment, for people who want to look more beautiful, feel more beautiful. It's all about self-growth and self-love. And I think this lipstick, this particular, if you see just how gorgeous it looks, is it should be your like weapon to look and feel great about yourself.
It's absolutely glamorous, and I feel like it defines you in some way or the other, for sure.
It's a great tribute to my Sindhi roots.
I agree. I totally agree. What about social media? You know, it plays such a big role in the beauty industry. So how do you feel you would want to, show the audience on Instagram and, other social media platforms about Pout?
Well, social media, Instagram is a humongous platform, and we are so, I think, blessed to have these to position our work, our films, our stories, our products, and now, the brands that I not only endorse, but I literally own. And so, like, Pout by Karan Johar is our way of putting out our first piece in a larger series of makeup items to follow, and we're going to totally leverage social media to further our reach. We're talking to all of you. You all have been kind soldiers for us to kind of make sure that our brand is everywhere.
Describe Pout's collection in 3 Bollywood song titles.
One would be 3 titles. One would be Ashiki.
Okay.
Because, it kind of is the beginning of a love story. One would be Dil Chahta Hai.
Okay.
Because, it's truly what your heart wants in terms of just beauty, And the third would be Khoobsurat.
That's Karan Johar's latest venture. But with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. From Shruti and me, goodbye and many thanks for watching. More news and updates continue on the other side.
CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.